So I'm logging in the VoiceThread. I'm going to read over Daryl's paper and I'm going to leave her some feedback information. I'm going to open up Daryl's paper and I'm going to start on her first paragraph. It's true that most individuals within the LGBTQ community have struggled with coming out. I was once one of them. Being raised a certain way, taught what was normal and what's not, can have an effect on a person who's coming out. Coming out of the closet is a process, and some individuals do not realize that. You have to come out to yourself first before you can come out to anyone else. Then you come out to your friends, and afterwards, your family. I'm going to leave some comments now. So, Daryl, your first paragraph was overall very clear. Probably because I'm not speaking. Daryl, your thesis statement was very clear and I understood it was right here at the end. However, your use of the acronym LGBTQ could be a little confusing to some of your readers. You have to consider your audience with that. Daryl, your thesis statement was very clear and I understood it was right here.
And you can stop it if you want.
However, your
Go to the next paragraph.
In your second paragraph, you stated, "It was not until my freshman year in high school that I came out to myself. Before then, I had always told myself that I was normal and tried to make myself believe that I liked boys. Within 3 months of school starting, I met a guy and he seemed nice, so I told myself that I would try dating a guy to see if I'm really a homosexual, and it was not for me. Late May of my freshman year, I had just finished watching The Outlast, and I sat there on my bed and I told myself that to be true to myself. Crying because I was living a double life and was afraid of what people and my family would think of me, I finally managed to allow the words, 'I'm gay and I love myself,' slip through my lips 3 times. After saying those words, I felt free and happy, completely happy, and that I had to tell someone."
Got a positive comment there.
So I'm going to leave another comment on Daryl's essay. Daryl, this second paragraph is very clear. You gave great details and we completely understood. I felt like as a reader that I was there in the moment with you, and it was a great use of details but also balance with information so we can understand how you felt at that moment. Daryl, this second paragraph is very... And I'm going to go down to Daryl's next to last paragraph. My mom was the first person I told, and it had to be one of the scariest days of my life. I felt as if I was going to die, like my chest was caving in. My plan was to write a letter, was to write it in a letter and leave it in the car after she had dropped me off at school, and that we would talk about it after I had got out of school. Instead, I ended up calling her into my room and telling her. Before I had asked her to come in my room, I wrote a letter saying that I was sorry and that I'm gay. She came into my room and I was completely quiet. After about 15 minutes, she asked what was wrong and I gave her the letter. As she read the letter quickly, I looked at her with nothing but nervousness. While she read the letter, she had a simple, concerned face. She was probably wondering why I was apologizing so much on a piece of paper, but when she got to the end and she read the sentence, "I'm gay," her facial expression changed from concerned to confused and concerned, which only made me more terrified inside. She put the letter down, and the first thing out of her mouth was, "I love you," which was followed by, "I don't understand it, but I'm going to be open-minded to it." By that time, it was around 12 in the morning, and I had to be up for school in 6 hours, so she gave me a big hug and a kiss on my forehead and told me to get some rest. Once again, I'm going to leave a couple comments for Daryl regarding this paragraph. So in this paragraph, the timeline was a little confusing. It was skipped around a little bit, which means that you could have a little bit better transitions, because we started the beginning of the paragraph off with you writing a letter, and then we ended up at 6 hours before you went to school. It could have been a little bit clearer, and with that being said, it could have also had less, what's the word I'm looking for? Unnecessary wordiness. It had a bit too much information about things that weren't really relevant to what you were writing about in this paragraph of the paper. But it was good with detail, and we did understand what you felt at the moment. Can I delete that one? So with this paragraph, the timeline was a little confusing. So with this comment, I'm going to erase it and start again. Leave a different comment for this one. So I'm going to redo my comment that I was leaving for Daryl's next to last paragraph. So Daryl, with this paragraph, it could have been just a little bit smoother with transitioning from the different time periods, from the moment that you were writing the letter to you waking up in the morning to go to school, because you guys had a late conversation. And besides the smoothness of the paragraph, the details were great. However, you did overwrite a couple of things that weren't really relevant to what you were telling us about in this story. And finally, I'm going to review Daryl's conclusion. Telling my mom was the scariest thing I've ever done. Thoughts of being kicked out and cut off from my family clouded my mind like a dark thunderstorm. I only thought of negative outcomes and not the positive outcomes, which only made my experience in coming out worse because I did not have hope. And for your conclusion, Daryl, it was a great conclusion, and we understood what you were trying to talk about and wrap up the rest of the paper. However, with the conclusion of your paper, this is your final paragraph that us readers are going to see, and we just want to know more final thoughts, and we need a little bit more information on what you really wanted to get across to us in this paper. It's just lacking some details and some important takeaways that we could have gotten from reading your paper. Now I'm going to look at the feedback that I received on my draft.
Hey Hannah, I really like this topic, especially where you talk about traveling, but I'm wondering if maybe these two paragraphs should be combined into one introduction. I also was wondering if you could provide a little bit more specific details in this paragraph as well. I see a lot of interesting details down here, but I'm curious about some of the more specific activities or places that you've actually experienced.
And now I'm going to respond to Sarah regarding the feedback that she gave on my paper, and just let her know what my ideas are as far as what she has suggested. Thank you, Sarah. I definitely see here, now that you mentioned it, that I can use a lot more details here. Well, that's what I'm definitely going to do, is add more information, more activities and places, just to give the reader some more things to read about, and something that makes it easier for them to picture what the activities and what places while they are reviewing the paper. And also, regarding the first two paragraphs, I will look into that and see. However, I do want my thesis statement, or my first paragraph, to be separate from my second idea. So maybe I'll take a look at the two paragraphs and I'll see what I can do to make them their own separate ideas, so that way I don't have to combine them, because I do like my thesis statement as it is currently. But I appreciate your help.
Alright, so I'm going to go to Hannah's draft to see if she replied to my comment. She has. So, I had suggested that Hannah combine paragraphs 1 and 2, and they would be combined into one introduction. She responded that she would think about it, but I'm going to explain why I suggested that she the single paragraph. I realized I was being very general, and now I'm going to record a video comment. So. Hi Hannah, I just wanted to explain why I thought you should combine paragraphs 1 and 2. I felt like paragraph 2 is still providing a general introduction, like background, but maybe a little better solution would be to give a more specific example of what you mean by stretching your mind in paragraph 2. Like, I'm curious about how trying a new food can stretch a person's mind. I hope this helps. And just press X. Okay. So now I'm going to go, I have some comments, I'm going to go see what those are. Hannah left me a text comment. She says, "Hi Sarah, I really like your essay. I can totally relate to growing up in a small town. I think your essay is really good, but I see some errors you need to look at a little better. Like where you say hobbies, shouldn't that be hobbies, plural, not possessive? And there's a few other things. I don't know if I am best at grammar, but I thought I should mention you have quite a few mistakes kind of like that. And do you mean 7th year of high school or 7th year of school? Sounds like you were in 7th grade." Now we're gonna listen to Daryl's comment.
Hi Sarah, I really like your essay overall. I don't really see any problems with it. I just saw that there may be some, like grammar errors, like where you say hobbies with an apostrophe S up here. And whenever you say like because of this event, I think you mean to say these events. But otherwise, it looks really good to me. I can't see anything else wrong with it. I don't really know what else to contribute. So, good job.
So Hannah has another comment, and she says, "While I really like your story, I am a little confused by your last paragraph. Is it just one sentence, or I guess two? Seems like the other paragraph above it is kind of rounding things out, or what our book says, by giving closure, because you aren't really giving any new information there. Summing up your point, I guess. So those two should be combined somehow, I think." So Hannah's comments were very helpful, so I'm going to go and ask Daryl if she thought there was anything wrong in my last paragraph. Hi Daryl, I was wondering if you had any comments on my last paragraph. It would be really helpful. Thank you. Hi Hannah, that was very good feedback. I was wondering if you could offer specific examples on how to combine the last two sentences of my paragraph. So I've taken their feedback and I've made some notes, and I'm going to go revise my paper and fix that. So I've been changing some of the grammar aspects of the paper, but I realize I want to change some of the actual sentences. So I think I'm going to remove these first few sentences because they don't really relate. I'm going to add some more specifics. I wish I wouldn't have been working on grammar the whole time. So I've decided that I want to make this paragraph more specific about Naomi. And one time in my class, I actually decided to go to the board and do an example. So in showed example on the she has really helped me build my confidence. I think this makes the paragraph seem more specific and less like a conclusion. Now I'm going to add a few sentences to my conclusion as well.